Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Thank you everyone that submitted questions on my Jaime Lannister video yesterday. I named this video Jaime versus Cersei just because that's what a lot of the questions were talking about. Even if that's not the narrative that the show decides to back, I at least want to see them address it. Just because a character that's supposed to have some common sense can only go so long before they turn to the people they love and say, "You're crazy, you can't do this anymore." So just careful for spoilers for everything that's happened on the show so far as we get into questions. Here we go. First question. Sunny asks, what do you think would happen if White Walkers came across stone men with great grayscale? I would say that White Walkers probably wouldn't be affected. They're probably immune to most human diseases. There isn't a precedent for that, so that's just speculation. But it seems like most of the things capable of affecting White Walkers are magic, things associated with the Red God, and dragons, which all might end up getting lumped into the same category, depending on how the show and George R. R. Martin decide to explain the Red God. If there's anything that I'm going to be disappointed with when Game of Thrones is completed its run, it's that because it has such a short time to explain things with 10 episodes, there'll be a lot that it won't talk about. So if we get any kind of like deep exploration of the Red God, it'll probably happen in the books. Next question, Yags asks, do you think that Myrcella is dead? And in case she's not, do you think it's possible that Doran Martell would try to make her queen in order to make Trystane king? No, I don't think that the show is going to go in like the book direction with a lot of this Dorne stuff. So it seems like Myrcella's dead. And the actress herself, the actress that plays her, also thinks that she's dead. They're being so tight-lipped about what's going on with season 6. They haven't announced who's in the cast, but it seems like Myrcella is going to be dead. I hope they stick with it because what I'm hoping to see from Jaime's character is him lose all the people around him, like being unable to save the people that he loves, and then being presented with this Cersei situation and seeing how he deals with it. Like, he wants to save the people he loves, but what do you do when the only person that you love is completely batshit crazy? They could also go in the direction where they have him cut ties with Cersei and try to save Tommen. Be like, alright, everything has gone to shit in my life, my family is crazy, but I'm gonna save this kid here. He seems like he could grow up to be a good person. So Jaime might end up cutting his losses and just trying to rally behind Tommen. Next question, Christian asks, what will happen to Arya now that she's blind? Will she be going through some kind of training, or is the blindness just a punishment? Well, they'll explain that in the first couple of episodes. I think it was episode 2 before we saw Arya this year. Logically, you think the show would have a little bit of fun with that, so hopefully in the first episode or so, we get to see her try to figure out how to deal with being blind. Whenever Jaqen wasn't sending her on missions this year, she spent most of her time preparing bodies, which is actually something that you could probably do pretty well blind. Like, you don't have to move around, you could memorize the locations of all like the embalming fluids and all the other things they use to treat bodies. But it'd be a huge mistake for the show not to give us a couple scenes with Arya just like fumbling around the wharfs blind at night. So yeah, it's gonna have some fun with the blind stuff. She'll probably gain back her sight at some point during the season, but only once she learns more about the magic of the Faceless Men, like the techniques that they use. That journey from sightless to sight will just be a deeper exploration of the Faceless Men. It's all the same to the Many-Faced God. Next question, Kaden asks, who would you rather fight to the death, the Mountain or the Smiling Knight? Well, the way they talk about the Smiling Knight, he sounds more like a Ramsay type character, so I wouldn't want to lose a fight to him, so I would say the Mountain. The Mountain would probably like squish my skull and I would die instantly, so that would be a pretty quick death. The Smiling Knight sounds like someone who would just like play with me and just let me die over the course of like 4 or 5 days, so that would be way worse. Next question, Bihan asks, do you feel like there's going to be an even bigger focus on the twins next season? So when I saw your question, I took 2 meanings. The twins is in terms of the location, like where the Freys live, and the twins is in Jaime and Cersei. So I'll start with the Jaime and Cersei stuff first. It seems like what's happening is Jaime's going to go back to King's Landing, and most of Jaime's story will revolve around what's going on with Cersei. Cersei is involved in this larger conflict. Jaime's not really a part of that. So I think when the episodes do go to King's Landing, we will see more Jaime and Cersei trying to figure out what to do about the Faith Militant and Cersei's situation. It's kind of like a repeat of Jaime and Tyrion in season 4 when Tyrion was stuck in the black cells waiting for trial. Remember, Cersei is still going on trial with the Faith. That hasn't happened yet. That's going to be a season 6 thing. In terms of the twins, the location, like in terms of the Freys, no, I don't think that we'll see them again, just because Walder Frey, the infamous Walder Frey, was cast on another show. He's on the strain right now, so he probably doesn't have time to do Game of Thrones stuff. Next question, Omar asks, why didn't Jaime or Tywin sit on the Iron Throne after the Mad King's death? Well, it wasn't so much like, first come, first serve. Just because the chair's empty doesn't mean anybody can sit in it. the Lords of the Kingdom had to support the successor, and everyone just agreed Robert was the best choice, even though there were a couple candidates. During season 1 of the show, Robert is remembering old battles with Barristan Selmy. He talks about going up against Randyll Tarly, and how Randyll Tarly, if he wanted to, could have won the war and sat on the Iron Throne himself. As we know, things couldn't go down that way. Robert ended up being king, but the way the books and the show present it, it was kind of like the wrong choice. Like, Robert should have never been king. He wasn't meant to rule. I think we can all probably agree that nobody took Jaime seriously enough to think him a serious candidate, and all the other Lords of Westeros probably didn't want to see Tywin get that much power. So I think one of the bigger reasons, one of many, that Robert ended up becoming king is because he was the popular choice. Next question, Kiana asks, do you think if Cersei was never part of Jaime's life, he would have been more honorable like Ned Stark? So you're saying, like if they hadn't have been so close and, just been so weird when they were young, I think he probably would have been fairly normal. He would have gone on to squire for someone, been raised to knighthood, probably would have been called back to Casterly Rock, so when Tywin died, he would take over. Cersei would get married to a Targaryen, if they were still alive at the time. There's no way to know how Robert's rebellion would have gone down had things been differently for Jaime growing up. Actually, I don't think it would have been too much different, because Jaime and Tywin's actions didn't figure so much into why the rebellion started. The Mad King probably still would have roasted Brandon and Rickard Stark. Rhaegar probably would have still absconded with Lyanna. So he still would have gotten the Civil War, but Jaime would have had a much more typical place in it. The war itself might have gone a little quicker too, because Tywin still would have hated the Mad King, but he would have far fewer reasons holding him back from joining Robert's side. So I guess you could say, Jaime might have been a little bit more like Ned Stark, but he would have been way more boring. This version of Jaime is way more interesting. Next question, Daniel asks, what is Marjorie's current situation? She's out of prison, right? Yeah, currently, she's been released by the Faith, but she's still awaiting trial. She and Loras still have to go on trial just like Cersei. The way the High Sparrow explained it, because of their confessions, Marjorie and Loras's, they'd be looked upon favorably, shown mercy as in mother's mercy. There was a lot of metaphors being thrown around. Like, he was basically implying that because they confessed, they would get reduced sentences. They go much lighter on them. The High Sparrow is really gunning for Cersei. Next question, Lana asks, do you think that Gendry could become more relevant at some point? I see him as an underdog. I can't help feeling we should keep him in mind. Based on the direction the show is going, I don't think that we have enough time to bring him back into a relevant storyline. I feel like in the books, on the show, if he does come back, it'll have something more to do with Arya's storyline, and it feels like there's really slim chances of that happening. The only reason to bring him back right now in the Seven Kingdoms is as another candidate to rule. Because of what Varys and Tyrion are doing, it's the show telling us that candidate, the new candidate, is Daenerys. They're mostly concerned with Cersei's fight with the Faith in King's Landing and what's going on up in the north, and Daenerys slowly marshaling power in the east. The Dorne storyline could get wrapped up in like another successor for the throne, like the Myrcella storyline from the books, but it seems like they're not doing that because it seems like she's dead. And with respect to Arya's storyline, they could bring Gendry back in the east, but it seems like they're trying to take away Arya's safety net, and bringing Gendry back would completely undercut that. But he's not dead yet. He's still rowing his way to King's Landing. Thank you so much, everyone, for submitting questions. These are always a ton of fun to do. Like I said, probably going to do some more Robert's Rebellion stuff for my next bonus video, so be sure to subscribe to get that. And a new round of the giveaway, I'll start whenever I do that. And that actually reminds me, congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Brian Dukowski. You win a $20 Amazon gift card. Just message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact info. A lot of you guys have been requesting specific bonus videos for certain characters and stuff. Some of the videos I've already done. So what you should do is just scan through my season 5 playlist. I haven't changed the playlist a little bit since season 5 ended. So every Game of Thrones video that I post goes in that playlist. So just scan down it and see if there's a video that I've already posted that you want to see. Once we get a little closer to season 6, I'll probably break off a season 6 playlist, because a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about now is more relevant to season 6 than it is to season 5. Just in case you didn't see it yesterday, I posted a big Jaime Lannister history video. You can click here to watch that, and you can click here to learn about some really big YouTube updates that are happening and some stuff that's going on with my channel. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.